against all of NATO in order to weaken and destroy Putin. He only wants Putin. He doesn't care that much about Russia. Obama is an egomaniac on top of everything else. People say narcissism. He has a sick ego. He's an egomaniac who wants to destroy his enemies. His number one enemy in the world, the only man who's ever stood up to him, so far as I can tell, is Vladimir Putin. He hates him with a passion. He's jealous of him because he knows he's the better man. He knows Putin is the better man. He envies him, and he wants to destroy him any way he can. This is very bad for the survival of Western values, all of you good progressives out there. If you really believe in progressive values, you better understand that your friends in radical Islam don't like you very much, and they'll be the first to throw you off a building. But you wouldn't know that reading the New York Times and Roger Friedman, would you? No, because the minute someone says anything about Muslims, right away you jump down their throats calling them racist. That's because you know nothing about survival and nothing about reality. Well, that's one man's opinion. I wouldn't say we're on the verge of World War III, but we're on the verge of something. We just thought we were going to cruise into Thanksgiving. We thought we were going to cruise right into Thanksgiving and just have a little jingle bells after that and get through the year. But, you know, history has a way of moving at its own pace. Yeah, history, you know, they say death comes when you least expect it. Have you ever heard that statement? Well, let me tell you something. Terrorism comes when you least expect it as well. Terrorism doesn't wait for the honeysuckle turkey. Terrorism doesn't respect the myth of the Pilgrims and the Indians. Well, some myth that is anyway. Let's not go there. The happy Pilgrims who robbed the land from the Indians. Let's not go there for the minute. Let's have a happy fantasy with the turkeys and the Indians. Miles Standish and whatever, Pocahontas, whatever you want to do. U.S.-backed rebels down Russian helicopter. Anti-tank gun was American. Kills Russian Marine. Jet pilots machine gunned to death as they descended with parachutes. Do you know that if you look back even to Vietnam, if our pilots were coming down in a parachute, the North Vietnamese, the NVA didn't shoot up pilots. They captured them. They put them into the Hanoi Hilton after giving them a terrible beating. That's what happened to McCain. Even the NVA didn't kill pilots. The last I saw this going on was when the Nazis shot Allied pilots as they were parachuting down into Europe. So now the Islamo-Nazis, the Islamo-fascists, it doesn't matter what you call them, it's fascism with a religious bow tie around it, are shooting down pilots in the air with machine guns. And you cheered, and the band played on.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
Hey, our Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust for wealth insurance, gold and silver. Call 800-BUICO. You know, on an unrelated but somewhat related note, I watched something today that finally had me understand what a true Christian is. I never really understood it. To me, I didn't really understand that religion that clearly. You know, the turn the other cheek part, because I'm an Old Testament type. I'm a kind of eye for an eye type of personality, and I'd rather poke their eye out before they poke my eye out. Let me put it to you that way. That's the way I am. I found that if you let the other guy poke your eye out first, he'll take your other eye out and you won't be able to get even. You wind up like Samson being poked by the midgets with the hot irons. I watched a pastor whose wife was kidnapped and raped. A pregnant wife, a beautiful white woman, kidnapped and raped. And I saw the husband, the pastor, with his father, kidnapped and raped, a beautiful woman, pregnant, kidnapped and raped, and then shot by 3 animals. And I saw the pastor say that the instinct every morning when you wake up is to get even and have vengeance. And he said, I have to fight that, and I have to seek forgiveness. He said, but I have to do that every day and every moment of the day for the rest of my life. And it clicked in my mind that Christianity and turn the other cheek is a decision. It's not inherent. But I'm asking all the good Christians, when are you going to turn the other cheek? When are you going to stop turning the other cheek? Think about it. Maybe you're too good a Christian.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. The Savage Nation, home of unprotected thought, borders, language, culture. And here he is, Michael Savage.
Our view from the start has been that Russia is welcome to be part of this broad-based coalition that we've set up. There's never been a point in time in which we said that we don't want Russia or other countries that may have differences with us on a whole host of other things to avoid working with us against ISIL. The challenge has been Russia's focus on propping up Assad rather than focusing on ISIL.
Those are the sounds from the battlefield of Obama's allies, the moderate rebels, shooting at the Russian pilots with machine guns as they were parachuting to Earth. Shouting, by the way, Allah Akbar, as they shot them as they were descending to the ground. We got a heck of a situation on our hands with a community organizer who is so out of his league that the world worries about World War III. In fact, the number one thing trending now on Twitter amongst all of the nervous Nellies is World War III. They've taken time out from tweeting pictures of their naked bodies, I guess, for a moment and say, World War III! World War III! And by the way, look at my behind. World War III! And look at me, here I am in the bathroom. That's the world we live in. The nervous Nellies, World War III is on their mind. And, of course, you know which side that the nervous Nellies are on, the leftist fanatical apologists for the neo-Ottoman Erdogan. They're on the side of the neo-Ottoman Erdogan. They hate Russia. They know nothing about Turkey, nothing about Erdogan, nothing about the fascism in Turkey. No such thing as open democracy in Turkey. No, and, of course, Turkey was made a member of NATO in order to threaten Russia. The whole reason Turkey was allowed to enter NATO was to threaten Russia. And now the mad dog in Turkey, Erdogan, has taken the world a step closer to a new apocalyptic world war, in plain English. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that I've known that the American left and Islam share parallel ideologies. I wrote about them in 2 books now, Stop the Coming Civil War, but most pointedly in my new blockbuster bestseller, Government Zero, which liberals are afraid to read. They're afraid to read it because if they read it and find out that they were wrong or hoodwinked by this con man in the White House, what are they going to do then? What would a liberal do if he reads a book and says, all right, you know what, this guy's intelligent, I don't agree with him, but I know he's smart enough to know how to defend his arguments. Let me read his book. And they read it, and they start to agree with me, and then by chapter 3, they say, by God, this guy is a Sherlock Holmes. He's right. He's got it figured out. I was wrong. Do you think they are ever able to say, I was wrong about anything, meaning they were? Not. No, they're not. The questions today are pretty clear. Was Obama behind the shoot-down of the Russian jet? You know and I know Turkey wouldn't have pulled that trigger in the F-16s unless the Girl Scouts gave him the go-ahead. You know the Girl Scouts told him to go ahead and shoot. And then, to make matters even worse, the Russians sent in rescue helicopters to try and search for the downed pilots, and the Girl Scouts told their friends, the radical Muslims, which they call moderate rebels, to shoot down the helicopters, which they did, by the way, with an American-made TOW missile. Now, if that doesn't jangle the world's nerves, the picture of a U.S. weapon aimed directly at Russia, I'd like to know what does. If you go to the video of the shoot-down, I have it up on michaelsavage.com. It's from the Daily Star, by the way. If you zoom in on the gun's instruction plate, you'll see they're written in English. And as you well know, if I have to repeat it for you again, Russia and Syrian President Assad are long-standing allies, while I hate to say the United States because there is no United States, the disunited States under the community organizer is committed to overthrowing Assad allegedly to put in a democratically elected government, meaning a Muslim-dominated government, not an Alawite government. Obama will not rest until the Muslims are running Syria. Do you understand how crazy this is? That's the situation we're in. WABC, Ray, go ahead. You're on the Savage Nation. What's your position? Ray, WABC line 9, going once, going twice, going 3 times. Call screener fell asleep at the switch. I guess there's some carbon monoxide leaking into the control room. We'll try the next caller. Ray is gone. Avi on WABC, line 8. Go ahead, please. You're on the Savage Nation.
Yes, I'm just amazed that Obama was quick to blame Putin so quickly, even though the Pentagon hasn't confirmed where the fighter jet was. In addition, Turkey was the gateway for ISIS fighters for years now. Obama hasn't lectured Erdogan onto allowing these fighters to use Turkey. Turkey kills the Kurds. Turkey goes on and does all kind of things to help ISIS, and not once did Obama speak up about that. And here, in 1 second, Obama is quick to blame Putin for this disaster.
Well, okay, so you're intelligent in your analysis. What do you think Obama's plan is here? Because I pretty much can see it from 10 miles away. We all can.
Obama's plan is to rile up Putin as much as possible, to get Turkey, to get NATO, to get Putin to do something where NATO starts something with Putin. That's what he wants. He wants Putin. He destroyed the oil money. He humiliated Putin, humiliated the Russians, and that's basically what the goal is, get Putin.
100% correct in my analysis. And he wants to drag Putin into a reaction to dragging NATO against Russia and destroy Russia once and for all. And strangely enough, on his side is that the stupidest of all the presidential candidates, the dumbest in history, that ice cream man from Miami. I saw him this morning. I couldn't believe what I was listening to. The child, Rubio. Did you hear what he said this morning, Avi?
No.
Okay, hold on. Robert, do we have the moron Rubio, the stupidest man in history, and what he said this morning? Play it for the audience to hear.
My sense is that if, in fact, we were true to our word on and showed that we were going to be supportive of Turkey in this engagement, my sense is that the Russians would not test it. They do not have the capabilities in the region to confront the NATO alliance, particularly the United States or even the Turks for this matter. And so I don't think Russia, at the end of the day, although Vladimir Putin is a gangster and a criminal, he is also a geopolitical actor who makes decisions on a cost-benefit analysis. And he'll have to do something to save face. But ultimately, he is not going to test the alliance if he believes the alliance is going to stand up to him, because he'll lose in that confrontation, and that would be an even bigger setback for him.
So the moron that they found in a gutter of Miami a long time ago, this idiot, Rubio, a stooge of 2 very powerful people, as you know, a powerful Republican, a powerful Democrat. They want him because he'll open the borders for cheap labor. This stooge is reveling on war with Russia. This should put an X through this idiot. Avi, let's go back to this issue of Erdogan and Turkey. Do you know anything about life in Turkey right now under Erdogan?
Yes. More journalists have been jailed there than pretty much almost any country. That's what's going on under Erdogan. Heavily serious aggressive to any protesting. They will beat, shoot with real bullets anyone trying to protest. He wants to make the country more Islamic. He has already. And he has constantly blocked Twitter, blocked Facebook, blocked any way for the people there to communicate. And the world doesn't hear much of what's really going on unless you visit over there and you talk with the locals. And I've been there.
It's interesting that Obama is so concerned about democracy in Ukraine and democracy in Crimea, but doesn't seem to care about democracy in Erdogan's Turkey. And we all know that Erdogan is a neo-Ottoman. For those of us who know that we're not talking about something to put your feet on. If you say Ottoman, most people in New York think it's something that their fathers put their feet up on with a pair of socks after a brisket. But if I say a neo-Ottoman Erdogan, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Is that a chuckle that I just heard coming out of you?
Yeah, because if we
no, most people don't know. If I said an Ottoman Turkey, they would think, as I said, It's something they put their father put their feet up on after a meal of brisket.
Correct.